It is the midweek edition of Racing to Win. That can mean just one thing. We're at Happy Valley on Wednesday night for a 9-race program. And it's time to preview it all here on the show. Joined in the studio by Paul Lally and Tom Wooden. Tom, pretty of an open card leading up to the last two races, then the quality improves a little. Yeah,
it certainly is, Mark. There's a little bit to sort of digest through some of those earlier races, which do look a little tricky on paper, but then you've got race number 9. It's got excellent Piers, who's been in a terrific form. Nordic Dragon, bit of a scary thought to think he was only 80% fit first up, and he's only trimmed up 4 pounds, so they're obviously fairly happy with where he's at, and Danny Shim looking for a 4-year-old series berth with him.
He is indeed. He's got Romantic Warrior and Nordic Dragon in the stable, Paul. A couple of nice horses to go to work with every morning.
Exactly. You don't get out of bed for those two any time of the day. Look, I'll tell you what, there's no jackpots coming up in this race meeting, but we have got a couple of first starters. There's a couple of interesting races throughout. I think there'll be a couple of shorties throughout, and Zach Purden in particular has got a very good book.
He built us up there to nothing in terms of the jackpots in the end.
No, there's nothing there. But we could come out, a few coming out of this meeting, because if Zach gets beaten on a couple of those, then it's anyone's guess what's going to happen.
We will have a look at Zach's ride during the show. It is now time to pass on a scratching for you. Race 1, number 7, Encore is out. Shenron, yes, he did run on the weekend. He's on a quick backup, comes in with saddlecloth number 7. Luke Ferraris is on board. The meeting details after Paul's build-up with no jackpots. It is on the C course, meeting 29 of the season. The first race is at 6:45. On a night of planets, and the American Club Challenge is the trophy race, race number 5, the 2 divisions of the Saturn Handicap. We're going to run rings around them here on the show. Race number 8 is the first Class 3 over the 1,200 metres. Starbright, there you go, it's just very lunar. Placed with 135 pounds last time, Vincent Ho and Francis Loy. Nakoni County draws a gate, a 2-time course and distance winner. Red Lion, he can't draw a barrier. He's won over 1,400 at Dundalk and the Curragh prior to arriving. Runs right over the 1,200 metres. Yo Beauty carries an extra 7 pounds for a senior rider. Armour Eagle has placed second up. Divine Shining was known as Hoodlum when trained by John O'Benner and Holly Wynyard. Won over the 1,200 at Hawera. Leslie's a last start winner, comes up in grade, and we've got a better run from Telecom Speed last time, and Ariel makes his Happy Valley debut. All right, so the speed over the 1,200 metres here, Tom. With Yo Beauty in the race, he normally likes to run forward, but so too does Happy Sharing, who was disappointing last time.
He was a little bit disappointing. He led early and then he sort of handed up and trailed and didn't find a great deal last start either, did Happy Sharing. So, look, whether they try and hand up with him if Yo Beauty wants to lead, and you've also got Summit Cheers in the race who's drawn wide, and Starbright, Paul, he's a horse that can end up handy from barrier number 3 because he's normally pretty reliable when it comes to pace.
Yeah, exactly. So he won't be too far away, but yeah, we're interested to see what they do with Happy Sharing. As you say, it was disappointing last time. I suppose the query's Red Lion, because he did lead on debut, but with all his pace in the race from a wide draw, maybe it's best if he goes back just to avoid that wide run.
Funny you should say that. We might be able to find out a bit more about Red Lion right now, because Nick was out at track work this morning and spoke to Red Lion's trainer, John Size.
John, Red Lion is a lightly raced horse from your stable. Back to Happy Valley he will go, and he was very good in defeat last time.
Yeah, he raced very well, didn't he? He got a good trip. He had a good passage around and was able to finish off quite nicely. To just come up a bit short. But he raced well the first day. He went to Happy Valley and then he backed it up. So he's on his way. He's going to win a race.
Not got the greatest of barriers, John. I guess that would be a slight concern. I mean, on his debut, he showed plenty of pace, but not as much last time. Plenty of pace in the race. I guess you'd be happy to take a lead, would you?
Yeah, well, it depends how he breaks, actually. Yeah. So if he jumps fast, he might have to go forward. If not, well, we come back a little bit and take advantage of the speed of the race. But in any case, it's an awkward draw, and it's very difficult to win from the 12.
He's only a 3-year-old. Has he always shown plenty of precocity since he's arrived in your stable?
He hasn't done anything wrong. He's gone to the races pretty quickly. He wasn't here very long before he had his first start. So he's had no interruptions, he's had no setbacks, and he's had a pretty smooth passage all the way through the last few months.
If I may just ask you about Tuchel here at the trials this morning. He trialled, he was back. Good to see him back as well. Looked to just go through the motions. Were you happy with him?
Yeah, I think so. He hasn't got the speed that those fast trial horses has, and so I think everything's in order with him. I just want to give him a little blowout this morning, and if he pulls up okay, we'll get back to the trials in a few weeks.
Have you got a possible date in mind for a return for him?
No. I'd have to have a look at him and see what sort of shape he's in, and he'll tell us when to go back to the races.
Wait and see for Tuchel fans, but Red Lion fans, Tom, won't have to wait too long till tomorrow night. But Zach Purton rides him. These are the stats when John and Zach get together. 14, 6 and 5 from just 36.
Yeah, pretty impressive win rate there as well, nearly 39%. So they've teamed up very strongly this season, Paul. Of course, normally you'd have John Size going to the likes of Joe Moreira, but that just hasn't happened this year.
No, and as you can see from those stats, it's worked out really well for this combination. And Red Lion, obviously, one of the ones. I mean, Zach's rides, just having a quick look at the moment, the shortest price of the longest price of anything he's on is under 5. You know, he's 4.7 currently flying on the turf, so he's got chances on every single one of his runs, as you'd expect. Hit the shot, another one for John Size. How deep is your love in Red Lion? So can add to that stat.
Yep, so 3 times he combines, does Zach, with John on Wednesday night. That is a look at Red Lion. We move on now, Paul, to our first replay. We've got Armour Eagle 9th. He's been back to the trials following this run. He had mucus in the system. Starbright, good. Happy Sharing runs 4th.
Yeah, so Happy Sharing was disappointing at his next start after this. Armour Eagle, clear excuses with mucus as well, and has gone well second up in the past. Starbright's been racing well, but he's got to carry the big weight.
He does, and he's put on a little bit of weight since his last effort, and he did lose the stick there, Hugh Bowman, last time out. But Vincent's gotten well with this horse in the past, so definitely think he's a top 3 or 4 chance in this race, especially from the draw too.
Yeah, barrier number 3 this time. He had barrier 8 when second in that replay. We've got Yo Beauty here, Tom. Very hard to fault his form. He's only a horse that's won 1 from 23, but is normally so close. And Nakoni County is better than this 4th and should be better again from a better draw.
Yeah, I do like Nakoni County here from that good draw as you mentioned, Mark. He's had 10 and 11 in his last couple. Was beaten behind Beauty Tycoon last time out, but still like the way he was getting through between runners late. I've sidelined Yo Beauty this time round, Paul, just from barrier 10. That's the concern.
Yeah, that is the concern. Look, I've put Yo Beauty in because I think he can get across, and if he does get across, he's been very consistent on honest horse this season.
Yeah, he sure has, and it will be Antoine Hemlin on board on Wednesday night. Leslie, Paul, it was a long time coming, this win. When we say a long time, he's only had a total of 9 starts, but he finally broke through and did it in style. Has to go up in grade this week.
He does. He comes in with a nice racing weight of 119, though, coming in. Look, he was consistent without winning. He was beaten on the bob a couple of times. He's finally put it all together. So if the pennies drop for him, I think he's definitely a chance. So I've included him.
He's certainly in Leslie, especially with only 119 pounds on his back. He carried 131 to a victory there and did in pretty good style, I thought.
He sure did. Kung Fu Tea, the horse he beat. Now, a newcomer here, Tom, is Divine Shining. Comes out of New Zealand, won over the 1200 at Hawera, now with Jimmy Ting. 4 trials, including winner the Youthful Deal 2 trials ago. This is his effort around Happy Valley. Yeah, the trial wasn't too bad. Sort of a couple of mixed trials from him. He was taken back from a wide draw in this one, and he finished off quite well. I thought out wider, but his prior barrier trial, Paul, he'd gone and led all of the way. So I'm not really sure what we're going to expect from him. It was only a 3 other in the race that he beat in New Zealand when he did win, and then he's come out of 2 stakes races. So whether that form's strong or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I question it. I mean, he's won a 4-runner maiden, hasn't he? He did win it nice enough, but then he's got 4th in a listed race or a Group 3, and then he's finished towards the back in his next start. So look, I'm happy to watch him in this.
Want to get your thoughts too. We heard from John Size about Red Lion. Tom, how do you assess him in this race?
Yeah, I think he's certainly one of the top chances in this race. He drove hard late last time out, just missed. You saw him cross in the early stages there to get into a good position. What the tactics are going to be, it'll be interesting. They probably go forward from barrier number 12. Zach Purton's the master at getting him in, but he's going to need a little bit of luck.
Yeah, I'm not so sure whether they will go forward. I see when we talked to John Size, he did say, look, he might let the pace of the race dictate. And there is a lot of pace in this race with Happy Sharing and Yo Beauty, so I just wonder if they will just take their time.
And with those horses in the race, Happy Sharing and Yo Beauty, is he the one to beat now, Red Lion?
Yeah, I think he is, because I think the pace is going to suit this horse. So I quite like Red Lion. I thought he just got beaten last time. The horse has only had limited starts. He's gone really well. So happy to side with him. Leslie in there for second. I think Yo Beauty can get across. And Armour Eagle, he's got a good second up record, and he had clear excuses last time. His trial was good leading into his last start. He'd be a big price. Well, on a place line he's not at the moment, but I think that'll drift out. 3, 9, 5 and 6.
We go with Nakoni County here. Does enjoy course and distance, like the way he got through the line last start in behind Beauty Tycoon, only beaten 2 1/4 lengths after settling back, and he's drawn barrier 4 with Hugh Bowman on board. So 2 Nakoni County to beat 3 Red Line, covered ground in those early stages last time out and just missed at the post, did Red Line. He's come up the early favourite. Starbright goes in. He'll be somewhere close to the pace from barrier 3. And I've got 9 Leslie, and especially with the light weight that he carries. He'd been knocking on the door a few times prior to that victory last start over Kung Fu Tea, but did it pretty easily. So 2, 3, 1 and 9.
There is the thoughts for both Tom and Paul for race number 8 at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. We're going to take a break here on Racing to Win. Back to look at race number 9 right after this. This is Racing to Win as we preview Happy Valley on Wednesday night. We saw race number 8 before the break, so we better look to race number 9 now. It is the final race of the night and a really good field upcoming here for a Class 3 over the 1,200 metres. Excellent Piers at the top of the book, carries an extra £6 for his last start win, but is low flying. Super Fortune comes to Happy Valley for the first time, has trialled well around the circuit. Winning Icy, he's across from the all-weather back to the turf, a track he's won 3 from 7 at as far as the 1,200 metres go. Elon's had a trial since his last start. Scotch Tycoon has the hood off and the blinkers going on. Smoky Bear went more like a scolded cat than a bear last time and ran third. Lucky Angel made ground when running 5th behind Beauty Tycoon. Hyper Dragon Ball was known as Beholder for Nathan Doyle. Won over the 1,200 at Newcastle and Scone in Australia. And Golden Link, all of his best form has been at Sha Tin. The speed map here, Tom. Super Fortune from barrier number 11. The speed map man thinks he will have the tote across.
Yeah, and he's got a fair bit of it, but it's just the stamina at the end, whether he can see it out. These big weights, Paul, even though he had 125 last time out and 123, and prior to that 132, they're just finding him undone at the end.
Yeah, they are a little bit, aren't they? But he's been running against some pretty strong races at Sha Tin. I think Happy Valley will probably suit him. I think he can get across there. Nordic Dragon led last time, but was pushed to lead, so I don't think he necessarily has to lead. And Smoky Bear, he went a bit crazy last time, didn't he?
He did. Held on all right for third, but didn't he?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's 52 to 1. Whether or not he can do it again remains to be seen. Excellent Piers is a horse that is absolutely flying. He's prepared by Frankie Law.
Frankie, Excellent Piers is a horse very much in form, runs in the final race on Wednesday night. How has he been since winning last time?
Yeah, it's really good form. It's still, you can see he's very consistent. So this time, because Matthew got an injury, so I need to put Hugh Bowman on. And I put him on gallop yesterday. He's a good form, he said, yeah.
Was Hugh impressed with the horse when he galloped him?
Yeah.
Was he the first port of call when you saw, obviously Matthew unavailable, was Hugh always the go-to sort of guy?
Because, you know, Matthew have an injury. I need to think about which jockeys can ride this horse. You know, usually all jockeys, they have a booking already. So I need to wait for the entries coming out, and I asked Hugh. He said, okay, I can ride for you, so it's good, yeah.
I want to. What was the extent of his cut leg? Because the sort of the report out of the race reads that he did sustain a cut leg. To what sort of severity was that, Frankie? Was it bad or?
No, not too bad. Yeah.
And just with the horse in general, I mean, he's been with you for 7 starts now,
Yeah.
4 wins, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
He just keeps improving, Frankie.
Yeah, he's not a big horse. He's strong and then a little bit small, but anyway, he can run. Yeah.
He's amassed 36 DBS points in the series. Should he win on Wednesday night, that will take him to the top. Is that an aim with this horse now that you've got him into a position where he looks a contender?
Yes, you know, we always try hard to get that million challenge. Yeah.
He's got £6 extra as well. Obviously, with his form, he continues to creep up the weights. Are you sort of confident enough that there's a bit more still to come?
Yeah, I think because, you know, he's a heavy jockey, so 135 should be okay for him, and the horse still look like keep improving. Yeah.
the best dressed trainer in Hong Kong. Frankie Law there, the trainer of Excellent Peers. Paul, it is very hard to fault the way Frankie's got him going, but he has to give a lot of weight away to Nordic Dragon.
He does, doesn't he? Look, he has won carrying 131 before, so he can carry weight, and he's quite a big horse. He's 1,100 odd pounds. So there's a couple of positives there, but as you say, Nordic Dragon looks like the horse, the up-and-comer, doesn't he?
He certainly does, and you look at this horse's record, 9 starts, course and distance, Mark. He's only missed top 2 on 2 occasions.
He has indeed. He doesn't tend to win by big margins either.
No, he doesn't, does he? He just manages to do what he has to do. So, like, he's definitely one of the main chances.
All right, that is Excellent Peers. We move on now to the first of our replays, and this is back on the all-weather, and it's Winning Icy where we start. He's no stranger to Happy Valley, Tom, because his record, course and distance is excellent. His run on the all-weather wasn't too bad either. He runs second behind Fiery Diamond here. His last defeated Happy Valley was behind a very informed Street Scream.
Yeah, I don't mind him in this race. He went offered a big price last time out. Pretty ordinary conditions here on the all-weather, and he was a bit slow away, but he stayed on the fence and ended up in the trailing position, got a decent run through them in the end, Paul. So I think he needs to be respected here. He's a 3-time course and distance winner. When he did win, he looked fairly progressive.
He did, didn't he? I was a bit disappointed with his run behind Street Scream, though. He was well beaten, and he was pretty short in the market that day. And saying that, he did bounce back and race well on the all-weather.
Fiery Diamond was disappointing on the weekend, but Lightning Bolt, who was just to the right of screen at the end, came out and won, so the form out of that race is quite okay. Scotch Tycoon, Paul, you've had time for this horse in the past. Now he's just second up for the campaign. There he is there. Francis Loy, Lyle Hewitson. Hood off, the blinkers go on for the first time, and he has won second up.
He has, hasn't he? And look, I'm going to include him just on a minor line. He's coming back from the Sharton run back to Happy Valley, and we know he's better at Happy Valley. He's a 3-time winner there, and once over the 1,200, a couple of times over the 1,000. So if the pace is on, I think he'll be running on late.
You know, I didn't think it was a bad run here behind Victor the Winner. We know that he's since come out and failed Victor the Winner, but the shades are on, and second up record reads well, and he was a big price last time out. I think he's definitely an improver in this.
And he's no stranger at Happy Valley. He's won, so handles the course quite okay, does Scotch Tycoon. Our next replay, Tom, features Nordic Dragon, the big-priced ISG sale graduate, and he ran right up to that price tag on debut. Will have to be better again because he's upper class.
He will, but he's got only 119 on his back here now. He's 1,136 pounds, so he's only dropped 4 pounds since that first up effort. Danisham quoted saying that he was only about 80% fit going into this first up assignment, and hopefully he can handle the step up here. I think he can, Paul, on this. He looked really professional and cut away from them. Shining Fortune, of course, has come out and franked the form.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought it was a very strong one. I think there's plenty of rating points in hand for this horse.
Oh, that's a great push for Nordic Dragon. Next up, Paul, is a replay which features Lucky Archangel, another one that you've been keen on in the past. Now, there he is on the extreme outside. He's a horse, he's had some bad barrier draws in his time here in Hong Kong, and he's been running on, but his record is not good in Class 3.
Yeah, the best he's done is he's run fifth 4 times in Class 3, but hasn't managed to do any better than that. I'd prefer him down in Class 4, to be honest.
Yeah, he's not one for me in this race. He's put on a bit of weight since that last start outing on the 23rd of November, up for nearly 30 pounds in body weight. And he was at the rear covering ground, but this grade he does tend to struggle.
Yo Beauty in Nakoni County in that replay run in the race prior. Next up, Tom, is Super Fortune. Now, we know him well from Sha Tin, but he has had a look around Happy Valley. This is his trial. He's got pace. He's drawn wide, expected to go forward. Did he look to handle Happy Valley well this morning?
He did, I thought. And look, he just got overhauled again late last time out, but he was able to lead this trial. That's what he does. Leads, don't know what sort of weight he would have been carrying in this trial, but he's done it comfortably, Paul. It's just whether he can hang on at the end. That's been his trouble, because he looked like he was going to be sort of a world beater in those early days.
He did, especially he's got that really good strong pace, and as you say, he can lead over 1,000 with no worries. I've included him on a minor line because he looks like Happy Valley might suit him.
Holy Power is the horse that ran second in that, and of course he was a debut winner, a strong debut winner on the weekend too.
Yeah, he was. He won nicely, didn't he?
He did. Good field to finish the night, Paul.
It is. I'm going to go with Nordic Dragon, though. I think this horse has got plenty of upside. It comes in with a nice weight, and I think he can win. Excellent Pears, the danger. He's been in such good form. This horse, he's won his last couple, just has to carry the weight, but he's a horse that can carry weight. Super Fortune we just talked about, and we've talked about Scotch Tycoon as well. He'll get back. I think he'll be running on late. 11, 1, 2 and 5.
Yeah, I thought Nordic Dragon would be tough to beat here. Stepping up in grade off the back of what was an impressive performance first up. Danny Shum's got a reasonable opinion of this horse. He's a 3-year-old by Star Spangled Banner and was too strong for them last time out. The form's been franked, of course, with the Shining Fortune. He should definitely come on from that. He looked very good first up. I think Winning Icy needs to be given a strong chance here. Drawn well. Comes the form out of that last night race is okay with Lightning Bolt, of course, and wasn't too far from them at the end there behind Fiery Diamond. Excellent pairs, just has the 135 to carry, which might be the concern, but very hard to leave him out of the top two. Course and distance, excellent pairs for Hugh Bowman and Frankie Law, and Scotch Tycoon with the blinkers on. Second up record also reads well. 11, 3, 1 and 5.
It's Nordic Dragon to remain unbeaten for the boys in race number 9. All right, so that's the first of the, or the second of the 9 races that we preview. Races 8 and 9 here, Paul. We need winners for the first 7, please.
Well, I think Zach's going to have a really good night here. Strive for Glory can kick him off well. This horse here is coming back into Class 5. He's a horse that has won in Class 5 at Sharton in the past. 5G Patch, like him, stepping up to 2200 metres. Mr. Fun, I thought went really well on debut. Flying on the turf, should get a really nice run on the map. He shouldn't be too far away as well. I quite like Janu Flash. He's only had the 2 starts and run really well on both of them. And the other one I quite like is High Cloud at a price.
Are you a bit more excited than your best bet than running through them?
I am.
You've sparked a delight all of a sudden.
There we go. I'm going to go with best bet, Janu Flash. I reckon he's going well, this horse. The 2 runs have both been pretty good. He should get a nice run just in behind. And High Cloud stepping up to 1650 for the first time. Let's see if we can send Jai McNeil off with a winner. The play we'll do in race 7. How Deep Is Your Love? All is good. And 6th Generation. QQP 5, 8 and 11 in race 7.
Best Me comes up in race 6, number 7, Chirin Warrior. Was given a good ride last time out, but in the end was beaten, but gets his chance here to atone. And a triumphant return. We'll go with him this time round again for Frankie Law and Karis Teaton. He's horse number 9. And then the play of the final race, so we've got excellent pairs, Winning Icy and Nordic Dragon at QQP 1, 3 and 11.
Going to go race 2, number 4, Hit the Shot. Zach Purton with a really strong book of rides. He's had 1 start, 2200 for 1 win, carries an extra £4 for it. Don't mind Telecom Speed. He's a horse that has improved in each of his 3 starts in Hong Kong. Karis Teaton with the ride, and we'll make him part of the play. Race 8, 2 Nakoni County, 3 Red Line and 11 Telecom Speed, 2, 3 and 11 in a QP. That has been Racing to Win, previewing Happy Valley on Wednesday night, Tom. Then a Christmas Eve meeting at Sharton on Saturday.
You've got 10 races at Sharton, mixed cardle, weather and turf. Beauty Verse back out again.
Yeah, up against Keithy and also Packing Treadmill. So that will look good for the 4-year-old series.
Excellent clash. We'll see you at Happy Valley for the first at 6:45.